ngira ngo ahari ndacyafite ubwoba sinzi ariko biragoye kugira ngo ngende ku Kibuye hashize imyaka myinshi cyane nagerayo. Hari uburyo nko abantu bari muri diaspora byatworohereza kugira ngo ubutegetsi ubuyobozi buriho budufashe wenda tutashoboye kuza nkuko nababwiye ngo ndi umubyeyi w'abana 8 binagora kubikora turi hano wenda igihe tudashoboye kuza hari uburyo bwatworoherezwa kugira ngo tubikore tutaje mu gihugu.
Icyo gihe ngira ngo ugannye ambasade ziri hano birashoboka, naho ibintu by'ubutaka birimo ibibazo byinshi, kubikorera kuri telefoni bishobora kugora. Ariko ngira ngo ushoboye gushirika ubwoba cyangwa tukagufasha gushirika ubwoba ukaba wahibera cyangwa watuma umuntu, ibyo icyo gihe bamufasha. Nagira ngo on the second comments and question, well, I hesitate to, I wouldn't like to pretend we have lessons to teach all over the world. We've been learning a lot of lessons, we've been learning many things ourselves. And of course, the gap between the rich and the poor that we find in many places sometimes depends on the philosophies and ideologies followed by different countries and people and so on. Sometimes it is the winner takes all, or the rich can get rich, and after all, they are not cheating anyone. They are maybe doing it from their efforts and so on and so forth. The poor can fend for themselves. And so sometimes it depends on the thinking at play in different places, which I can't influence. But what we do in our own country, if anybody would want to make it an example to go by, the government works with the citizens to make sure that we allow people to freely express themselves and do what they can do, and you know, hard work will pay. You benefit from your hard work. If you are not working hard, you may also not benefit much. But at the same time, we focus on making people understand that there are things they can do to improve themselves, their lives, and so we bring that to the population and say, if you did this, and if we can work together, if we can make this input, and if you work hard in this way yourself, things can be better. That's how we do it. And I think in many other places, if they want to narrow this gap, they can do it. They can do it based on some of the resources they have available to them. They can also do it in mobilizing the poor and identifying what is within the reach of the poor or in their own energies to be able to make a difference for themselves, support them, not only support them to make sure that in the end they are able to stand on their own feet and move on. So it's things beyond my control. I cannot, but in Rwanda, we try to do that. We try to make sure that our policies focus on giving capacities and ideas and to the citizens. We focus on the citizens to make sure that they can be able to realize their full potential. But in the end, of course, there will be people who will be richer than others, even in the end. But at least looking at the bottom, we want to make sure that those in the category of poor, of being poor, they can be raised in their living standards and building on their own efforts. So it was a complicated question and statement, but it has a lot of value in it, which we can also learn from, and I'm sure the people you are referring to can benefit from the debate around this issue. And then I want to thank Danny from Utah, who can give Africa or Rwanda wheelchairs, and even who can deliver support for different kinds of sport and by people who need the wheelchairs. And the ministry, for us, the department concerned in our country, would be, well, I would say a couple of ministries would meet on dealing with this. The Minister of Sports and the Minister of Health work together can work together for the delivery of the kind of support, if you will. I would appreciate that. Well, thank you. Angelina and your colleague, thank you for your message from Geneva. And thank you that you didn't have to ask questions, but it was only a good message. Murangwa, I think I want to agree with him to a certain extent. But earlier, I wanted to make a joke, you know, because he wanted to say everywhere is Rwanda. Chicago is Rwanda, or wherever. This is what but later on he qualified it very well. He said, I think Rwanda is where you find Rwandese. When they are there, they are thinking what is in them. Yeah, so it didn't have anything to do with the borders. So in this room, there is Rwanda. Now we have Rwanda here. We didn't invade Chicago to turn it into Rwanda. It's just Rwanda by mere presence of Rwandese here. And we are good that Chicago could provide a good place for us to meet, and they've been good. They hosted us with a lot of grace. So, but I think he was really emphasizing the issue of identity and this Rwandanness. It is more of Rwandanness than Rwanda that you find everywhere. So here is Rwanda in that sense, which is absolutely right. So diaspora or what, some of these words have meanings. Don't get lost into the meanings of these words. Don't worry. Just, yeah, these are Rwandese wherever you find them. And I'm also not very fond of using this word, diaspora. No. When you are here and you are thinking Rwanda, then you are in Rwanda. When you are there, it's the same. So there is really, and technology has narrowed the distance, has rendered the geography irrelevant. Yes, when you can do business in Rwanda while you are in Canada or here in Chicago, and when you get your salary here, maybe half of it goes to Rwanda, the other half stays here. Isn't it? Or the whole salary goes to Rwanda. And, so we can have Rwanda here in Chicago as so the diaspora thing is just a word. Don't get lost into the meanings of these words. Don't worry. Just
Thank you. My name is John Rukumbura. I'm from Toronto. I'm also among the many Canadians who are eagerly waiting for you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the request is just to stay the course. Don't change, stay the course. That's it. Sit down. Mr. President, you told us not to tell lies. In this city, we have someone who has been telling so many lies. He's known to this city, and his name is Paul Rusesabagina. I'm saying it, not quoting anyone. Mr. President, we have someone here who is willing to challenge Paul Rusesabagina. I showed him to the audience in the morning. Let it be known that let him pick a place, time, anytime, to meet Victor Munyerojero in any place on this globe. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, John.